Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
I got an email here the other day from community member Andre Garcia, and he asks, I hear talk coming from the Droid community, of course the Android community, stating that their App Store rivals the Apple App Store, and that their apps are just as good, if not better. They tend to make the claim that all the great iPhone apps are also available in the Droid Store. iPhone users quickly counter that they're not on the same level as far as quality or quantity is concerned, and this usually turns into a flame fest, with trolls from both sides out in full force, making it impossible for most people to read or make a decision. So here's my request. Can you make a video showing the differences between the two? I don't own either phone, so I can't make these comparisons for myself, as I'm sure is the case with many of your viewers. You've made some comparison videos, but I haven't seen a video comparing one of the biggest, if not the biggest reasons to purchase either phone. Their app stores and their apps. Both makers flaunt their app store and their apps, usually making them on the forefront of their advertising campaigns. Apple, of course, has their commercials. There's an app for that. And Google has also made a point to highlight their apps more, although their commercials are vague. In your video, can you concentrate on the following? 1. Design. Not just the cosmetics of the app, but how easy the app is to use as well as overall workflow. 2. Stability. That's self-explanatory. 3. Integration. How well does the app take advantage of the phone's capabilities? I'm sure you'll find other aspects to compare as well. I'm also sure the entire geek community will appreciate this, since I haven't found a comprehensive, unbiased comparison such as the one I'm proposing. It's usually a list of the apps that both offer, but not a real comparison. Hopefully this vid will bring some clarification to the many questions some of us have, aid those who are undecided, and help debunk any myths, lies, or exaggerations that come from both sides. Thank you for your time. So this is going to be an extremely difficult question for me to answer, because I'd say it's a draw. Either one of the app stores, whether it's Apple's App Store or Google's Android Marketplace, as it's known, they both have their share of benefits and drawbacks. Now, the overarching difference is that Apple controls every single aspect of their App Store. You can't get an app into an App Store, even if you've spent millions of dollars on development. They have to accept you. And even if they do, they may still yank you out. Now, to contrast that, Google has the Android Marketplace, and that's kind of like the Wild West. Like, anybody can put anything in there, and they do. It's not to say that Google's App Store isn't full of crap. Isn't to say that it is, just like Apple's App Store. It's just that Google kind of just lets things go and flow, and subsequently, sometimes finding what it is that you're looking for can be a bit more challenging in the Android Marketplace. But then again, anybody can put anything on there. And because of that, anybody does put anything on there. If you don't believe me, do a search for the word widget. There's some rather questionable apps in the Android Marketplace. Now, in Apple's App Store, they do have a lot of applications that I would never bother installing or even recommending for anybody to use. So it's not to say that Apple's process is any better. And even though Google kind of just lets go and let God, they still have the ability to eliminate apps from the Android Marketplace as well as from installed devices. They kind of wield the same power to a certain degree that Apple does. It's just they let it be open up front, and then if bad things happen, then they may shut an app or an app developer down. There's no quality control in the Android Marketplace, which isn't to say that the apps are really bad, because there are indeed a lot of really cool apps for Google Android. And yes, there are apps that are available on both Google Android and the iPhone, sometimes designed and developed by the same team. So which one is better in terms of design? Well, I like that the Google Android Marketplace, and specifically the Google platform, allows you to download in a fashion, just click, download, it goes into the background. Click, download, background. Click, download, background. That's nice. I love that. I also love the fact that before you install an application on Google Android, specifically through the Marketplace, you get a list of all the things that app is going to do, specifically with that system, like what data it's going to need, if it's going to need a network connection. You really get like as much detail as you possibly can, at least that's surfaced from the app developer before installing the application. Now contrast that to the installation process in Apple's App Store or the iTunes App Store. You click to download, and then you have to navigate to the next one, click, and you can download in the background too. It's just you got to jump in and out of the App Store, because when you click to install an app, it takes you back to the home screen on the iPhone versus the Android marketplace where it kind of shoves it into the background. Another thing that should be noted about the applications on either device, as I said, Apple is locked down the App Store. You have to go through them in order to have your app considered. That being said, sometimes it's nice to be able to install an application that hasn't been accepted in the App Store. That can be done through an ad hoc fashion with the iPhone, but Google, and specifically the Android platform, allows you to install and run apps that aren't available in the marketplace, their marketplace. So Google is like completely open, so you get whatever you get, both good and bad. Apple is pretty much the antithesis of that, closed, and you still kind of get what you get. Ultimately, though, it really boils down to what you want to use that device for, and trying an application on one platform or another. There's a Google Android emulator that you can download and install on your machine. You can try Google Android apps without actually buying a phone. Did you know that? I mentioned it in a video a while ago. Can't do that very easily with the iPhone, unfortunately. So, design-wise, in terms of navigating the array of apps, after saying everything that I've said, in each of the app stores, I find that, personally, it's a bit easier to search and sort in iTunes, personally. That's my belief. Everybody has a different experience. So I like doing it directly from iTunes on the desktop. The Android marketplace on the phone, assuming you're comparing the App Store on the iPhone and Android, beyond the aesthetics, it really just boils down to how you want to navigate. Do you want to navigate by keyword? Do you want to navigate by date? Do you want to navigate by price? I find that typically more information is surfaced about an app in iTunes, specifically tied into user reviews, prices, etc. But really, both of them, the Android marketplace and the App Store, I'd say dead heat. Seriously, a dead heat. Sorry, I've got a reminder suggesting that I need to be recording this video for you, Andre. So design-wise, 50-50. Stability. Each one is equally stable. I've had the Android marketplace crash on me just once. Wasn't a big deal. Just force closed and opened up again. Kind of was a simple process. So stability-wise, again, haven't had any issues with either one. Integration. Now, this is where we're going to get down to brass tacks. How well does the app take advantage of the phone's capabilities? This is all contingent on the developer. Read the reviews of any application before you install it. Because some people will be complaining because it didn't work on their phone, but it may work on somebody else's phone. That happens on both the iPhone as well as Android devices. Because see, the way that Google approaches it, it's not Google's commercials per se. It's the handset manufacturers or potentially the wireless carrier that are producing commercials that are centered around Android devices or droids. Which, by the way, is a registered trademark of Lucasfilm, if I'm not mistaken. Droids? These aren't the droids we're looking for. The app developers need to take advantage of the phone independent of everybody else who's developing for that platform. And what I'm trying to say with that is it is all based on the experience and quality and, I guess sometimes it boils down to dumb luck, but really is contingent on the talent of that development team. Every phone is different. And, while there may be an array of Android devices, different screens, different manufacturers, etc., even Apple has had this issue with different iPhones. The original iPhone, the 3G, the 3GS, the 4, so they've got 4 devices. And when reading app reviews on either the Android Marketplace or the App Store, you have to look very closely. This only works well with this iPhone, or this only works well with this Android device. It's always going to be about that. And so integration is going to be largely contingent on the capabilities of the hardware. On either Apple side or Google side with the Android platform. So again, I would say it's pretty much a crapshoot. Craps shoot, not crapshoot. Although there's some crap in both the App Store and the Android Marketplace that I wonder why someone even bothered producing this, and specifically why Apple would have accepted that into the App Store, considering they're kind of acting as benevolent dictators, saying what goes in and what doesn't. But then again, you get the Wild West in the Google Android Marketplace. It's really, I hate to say it, up to you. It's all a matter of perspective. Some people like the apps that Android has to offer, or the Marketplace. And others think that the App Store has everything that they need. And you know what? They're both right. So there is no definitive answer to your questions. To design stability and integration, it's so subjective in either camp. And I would point to knowing, doing your research, and seeing what apps you want, and doing a little bit of homework, and seeing, oh, that's an app that might work well, or it has more features. Of course, sometimes it's not always about the features, it's about the implementation. That goes back to your integration question. So if you have a chance to experience it firsthand, I'd give it a shot. You can download the emulator for Android and try that there. And there are so many people who have iPhones, you can easily ask them to at least try the free applications, and many app developers in the App Store will release a free limited edition version of an app. I always recommend downloading something for free if you have a chance, a limited edition, before actually buying the full-fledged app, unless you know the full-fledged app is going to work well for you. Wow, wasn't expecting to talk so long here with this particular subject, but I would say that if you are going to troll this thread and suggest that one solution is better than another, you're just kind of looking like a fool right now, because it's a subjective question, a series of questions, and certainly subjective answers. What's good for you is not necessarily good for me, and vice versa. So try them for yourself, and this is one of the reasons why I did not want to demonstrate it in a video, because so many people say, oh, you misclicked this, or you missed this, or you did. There's a lot to cover, right? You can't be comprehensive with it. But I'm just going to take a step back and say it's 50-50. That's my perspective. You're more than welcome to leave a video response showing, I'll turn this over to you, demonstrating which you believe is better. If you're a Fandroid, you're a fan of the Google Android Marketplace, do a video showing why that's better. And if you're a fan of the App Store, through iTunes and Apple, do a video on why you think that is better. So I'm turning it over to the community. Let them answer the question from their perspective. Let them make the argument. And I'm sure people are commenting already. Yeah, the email address, chris@pirillo.com, once more. chris.pirillo.com, that's my blog. twitter.com/chrispirillo, and then facebook.com/chrispirillo, youtube.com/chrispirillo, and geeks.pirillo.com, where you can embed the YouTube video that you leave as a video response to. We'll help you promote whatever it is that you want to share. My printer is talking to me right now. I don't exactly know what it's saying because I don't speak printerese. The printer, by the way, running a distribution of Linux. You didn't need to know that. But what you do need to know is I can save you money on just about anything at coupons.lockernome.com. And then, of course, we also have the chat room. That's a part of a live video feed. It's an IRC chat room, so you can join from pretty much anywhere. There are IRC apps for Android, as well as the iPhone, iPod, and the iPad. iDevices, they need to make it easier to talk about. iDevices, we'll just leave it at that. You can join us. We are typically talking tech. Even if I am not paying attention, there are plenty of people in the community who are. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.